Hey everyone, Reyan and Mark here. Welcome to the Barbecue and Brews show. We've got a very special show for you today with four amazing owners of rub companies here in Australia, coming in to talk about how they got started, what they've learned along the way, and hopefully share some tidbits to other people out there thinking about actually starting a rub company. So can't wait to get them on. But before we do, we've got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. And one of our sponsors is Brewy Colo, drinking beer from Brewy Cola down here in Ocean Grove in Victoria. So if you are down the neck of the woods, Oh, you're drinking the one? I've got the coffee one, which they've just won an award for, and I'm struggling with the camera angles there. The coffee one's amazing. I need one tonight. I've been up way too late recently. But other than that, obviously the rubsociety.com.au, mate. Have you got any rubs, favorite rubs for this week or the rub of the week?
Well, we've got a few guests on, so I thought I might, I've got a bit of a chubby, so I've got a bit of a chubby, so that's pretty good.
Oh, yep,
yep. If I haven't had a bit of one of these before, look, it sounds wrong. I chucked it on ribs, amazing. Put a bit of lemon on top though as well. Beautiful.
Yep, sounds the trick. Nice. What else you got?
I still haven't tried this one yet, but I've heard good things.
One of the. It's not bad, that one. I've worth giving a shot.
This is my family favorite one. So if you haven't had this one, I know a few guys this week did try it on lamb for the first time. I do love it on lamb. It's delicious.
What's the name of the rub, mate?
Split gin. Can't go wrong. So
from who does that rub?
The kids love the gin. I don't know why. The kids love the gin.
I want some sauce low and slow if anyone's watching.
Oh, another one. There's another one there. Yeah.
Oh, the Coast and Smoke. Yes.
Yeah. So I've got a few to dispute it. It's just that I hope you
try to be a little bit less biased because obviously we've got guests coming on the show. So I've gone with Black Bear barbecue beef rub. Now I chucked this on some on a pulled beef neck, and that was amazing. Just perfect for the beef. So and obviously all that from rubsociety.com.au, RFTRS at checkout to get 10% off. Those boys will look after you, and great to have them on board as well as Brewy Colo. So before, I guess now we've got to introduce the biggest introduction we've done to date. On a big breath. I'm gonna have to introduce and add them into the stream. So this is gonna be good fun. We got Dean from Toad's Kitchen Cupboard on the show, who's based out of Sydney, and I am gonna do that. Cool. Sorry, missed the button.
Evening, boys.
Hey, Dean, how you doing, buddy?
Good, thank you. Yourselves?
Good. And we've got the one and only Joe from Smoky Joe's. Who's been on all of these guys have been friends of the show. But Joe, welcome on the show.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on. And we got Sam from Sauc'd Low and Slow, Mr. Split Gin himself, the Great Fox, and Troy from Coast and Smoke. Welcome aboard, everyone. Thanks for coming on.
How you going, lads? How you going? Yeah, good.
That's good. Look, again, first time we've done a multi-panel show, which is quite interesting. And thanks for sharing your time today and coming on as a collective in this barbecue community to talk about, your experiences running and sort of creating and running a rub company. So that's fantastic to have you on. Before we get started, what are you guys drinking tonight?
I'm drinking.
I just got realized I got to give.
Best start with one person at a time.
Sorry. I just had a feeling it.
Pirate Life for me.
Yeah, awesome.
Feral Brewery for me.
Nice one.
Living in Texas Balconies Bourbon, so it's a single bourbon.
Oh, nice. I like it.
And I'm drinking a Bolter XPA.
Excellent. Mark and I are going to crack our beers, so obviously from Brewy Cola, so I've got to get away from the technology. And I got to do that before I get to the computer. Now, obviously, got a whole bunch to go through, but I just want to, and you've all been on the show, which is amazing to get you guys back on as a group. But tell us a little bit about ourselves and how you got started, how many rubs you got at the moment, and where people can find you, just so we can get that at the front of the show. So maybe I'll start with you, Joe. Just a quick elevator pitch, if you must.
Probably going on about 2.5 years now. Started really as a hobby. People on Facebook, Instagram started asking about, do I make, do I sell? And I always said no. And then one day we thought, well, if we can sell a few, we might get enough to make a holiday to Europe. And it's just taken off. We're probably in around 180, 190 stores around the country.
Wow.
We're in 18 in New Caledonia, 2 in the UK, 2 in the Netherlands, 2 in Ireland, 1 in New Zealand. Currently doing the final stage of exporting to China and Asia.
Yep.
And also working around the logistics of getting into South America.
Okay. Wow. All right. Cool. That's epic. And just so we get to the front of the show, where can people find your products at the moment?
Everywhere. I mean,
Where
there's
are they?
there's 180 stores. 995 are in WA, so we're in every sort of Weber's shop in WA. Barbecues galore, butchers everywhere. We're just taking on a small distributor in Queensland and New South Wales and Victoria, so they'll be pushing into more stores shortly. So currently got about 200 cartons going out to Queensland Thursday.
All right. Busy man. How about you, Sam?
Yeah, good. Similar. Started off making blends at home, loving food, cooking food, living, breathing food, and thought this isn't fair to be holding on to it myself. So this has to be shared. So I developed them, started releasing them in little pouches, seeing how they go. People love them, and it kind of grew from there. We've got 7 blends now. 3 of the first blends were developed over about 5 years, and our current blend we're about to release has taken about a year. So we spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort making sure they're spot on before they go out. We've got over 65 stockists. We developed white label for 3 or 4 other companies that are in multiple stores, including Coles and Woolies. Not our brand, but other brands. So we really enjoy developing new flavors, new brands for other companies, as well as giving us that platform to be able to develop our own. And we're hoping some of those brands end up in Asia as well. We've grown pretty quickly, but we've learned a lot and made lots of mistakes, which has really helped us grow and where we are. And just love connecting with people. And we kind of sit a bit into barbecue, but we focus very heavily on everyday food, being able to use your mum and dad, family, really just grab a blend and go. It can work with anything. You can find us online, Instagram. We're in IGAs, food market stores, stockists. Look around and find us.
Awesome, mate. And how about you, Dean?
Yeah, pale and significant to those guys. We're not exporting to China or anything yet, but ours is probably our bread and butter is farmers markets. So I've been doing farmers markets on a Saturday and a Sunday for close to 10 years. And 4 years ago, we adjusted from what we were doing, which was smoke products, long before I knew how to get smoke on a barbecue, to sort of, spices and rubs and bits and pieces, which weren't initially barbecue at all. It wasn't until I sort of come across your show, actually, that I found a barbecue community and then started sort of adjusting that. But, for us, it's farmers markets, mate. I probably pop up at, I think I'm doing 6 or 7 different markets at the moment, over sort of every couple of weeks in Sydney. The website's going really well. This year saw us at a few barbecue festivals, which were awesome. We got the opportunity to do the Sydney Good Food and Wine Show, which was amazing. Heading down to Melbourne soon, along with Troy. We're both going to be doing the Good Food and Wine Christmas show at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre in November. So hopefully we'll definitely be catching up for a beer.
Yeah.
But hopefully I get to see a few other people as well. So.
Yeah, no, let's do it. No, that'd be great catch up. And how about you, Troy? How did you get started?
There's only one of me out of the 2 here tonight because Claire's out. But yeah, the 2 of us, we just travelled all around the world trying food, and we just cook all different types, and then got right into American barbecue and just grew from there. And like Joe's been really good, got to pick his brain a fair bit and got to go for WA and see in his early stages. And we've just grown. We've got 9 in our range at the moment. We're just waiting for labels to be approved for number 10. We've got the barrels coming out soon, which will be our 10th one. And then we've got another one that's just been trialling at the moment. And it only ever been cooked on once by me previously. And then the barbecue comp team we sponsor on the weekend cooked with it on up at Smokefest, and they got 3rd on their steak and out of 30 cooks, and 9th out of 30 cooks for their brisket. So we're slowly, like Sam said, we generally don't sit in that comp barbecue range. We sit really in that home cooking, but we've got now a couple of rubs that sit in that kind of barbecue range. So we try to spread ourselves out a bit. And we're making a few connections over in New Zealand, so hopefully we'll start banging on the door over there soon.
No, that's awesome.
But you can find us. Probably the easiest way to jump on our website, jump on our stockers page, and that will tell you we're in every state except for Tasmania. Yeah, we've got something somewhere.
Cool. No, that's unreal.
So I might target questions because there's so many people here. So I'm gonna throw this one at Sam and Joe. So how hard was it to set up your website straight away when you try to start selling your product? I know you spent years defining it, but setting up the website, how much effort was that to do to get your product off the ground?
Yeah, good question. It was challenging. I did it all myself from scratch. I'm a bit of a control freak, and so I wanted to look and feel a certain way, and I didn't want to hand it over to someone else. It just took time. There's lots of packages out there that kind of do a lot for you, but I really wanted to customize it, make it mine and my feel, and kind of know every aspect of the website so I could play with it. So it just takes time and energy, and it's definitely something not to be rushed. It took a long time. I'm still tweaking it now. I think the other day I put my stockist map on for the first time. So it's a work in progress, and it keeps growing. You just have to go. Yeah, I always think if you just yourself on the website, that's so much easier than someone else's story. So
yeah, pretty much the same as Sam. We did it. I did it myself. Wasn't that hard because we used to have a restaurant many years ago, and we had a website for that. So I already had the understandings. Knew what pages I wanted, but like Sam said, I still tweak it now and still add things, take things off, and sometimes I'll change the color if I look at it and go, yeah, that doesn't look right, and it's just a continual work in progress.
Still freaks me out. Oh, sorry, I was going to jump in. It still freaks me out when I'm online and Joe's like, "What are you looking at today?" He kind of sees you. He's tracking you on the website. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, every time someone comes up there, I get a pop up, and if they're subscribed, obviously it's their name and location, so I know exactly who and where they are.
Scary, man. That's awesome, now.
I'm just going to follow up that. So, how exciting was it when you got your first order, and did you go and tell everybody in the whole street that you've got an order, or how did you manage that when you first got one through? Yeah,
it was. It was good. Because I was obviously working full time at the time. And we thought, we may get, 3 or 4 orders a week. And I thought, I could come home, bottle them up because we didn't have them, pre-bottled or whatever. Ange could whack them in the mail the next day. So when we got the first one, that was good. And then you get the second one, the third one, and they start coming in faster and faster. And you're going, I'm going to have to change the strategy here. You start getting orders, and then you get them from a different state or a different country. And when we're getting a lot from the States, and that was a real tingle as well. So, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, same as Joe. I'm like a kid in a candy store when the first one came through, because especially when it's not friends, that first person that doesn't know no connection with you, like, you found me and you trust me enough to buy my product, and there's no better feeling than that. And I actually think every order, and it might sound a bit cliche, but I still get excited when I get an order now, because I still think someone is committed to a brand, is choosing my brand over someone else's, and that means a lot. So yeah, it's super exciting. I think if you lose that excitement, you probably should stop doing it.
That's actually, that's really good. I actually agree with that one. I think I love that you enjoy it. Now, look, branding is so important, and this one's for Troy and Dean. Branding's so important, and I know you guys put a lot of effort into the way you look, and I know Troy, especially you, early days, you were sharing some of your artwork with me, and I was like, man, like you went really deep with that stuff, and same with you, Dean. You sort of working through obviously different bottle sizes and things like that, and trying to get that look and feel, and obviously moving from away from barbecue stuff to actually coming into barbecue stuff. So that's great. So how much effort and thought process went into actually just getting that design right before you got going?
We invested a fair bit of time and money in getting the branding right, because we didn't want to evolve our brand in the public eye in front of everyone. We wanted to try and get it right from the moment we put it on the shelf, and we also wanted it to be not that two meat cleavers, just barbecue. We wanted everyone to feel welcome. We wanted, like, women, men, whoever it may be, and if anyone takes the time to sit down and look at all that little icons on our jars, we have a female and a male surfer, and we have like white wine. So we have wine and beer, and nothing like it. We made it really unisex. We made it pop. We wanted to be a bit different to everyone else within our color range, and then even our like our mailer boxes. Like we spent a fair bit of time because we wanted that whole experience to the end user as they open it up. They're not just going to taste a fantastic product; they're just going to have this awesome experience of looking at the branding as well, and it's something you can keep. And because there is a lot of there's 1,000 rubs out there. You need to stand out as well. So.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if you go to any sort of barbecue store or even butchers these days, and it's just a war rubs, and you've got to make sure that your brand pops out so much more. But how are you, Dean?
Yeah, we started doing the pouches, and I guess we still do our stuff predominantly in pouches, and that worked for us at farmers markets.
Yep.
And it was this year just by chatting to a whole lot of different people, like yourself and everyone else in the market. Had a hot heap of help from Sam. We're sort of looking at different shakers and stuff. And there's a bit of a trick with that too, because I'm not buying 10,000 or 15,000 of them at the time. So importing them and then we don't make plastic shakers here in Australia. Like I can get glass bottles tomorrow. I can get silver pouches tomorrow. I can get all sorts of stuff. But a lot of those plastic containers are coming over from China. So that was took us a little while to try and find what we wanted. We're really happy with our chubbies now. So, and we've got that name. So like that's our point to stand out. Like I like a little bit of innuendo. So I'll quite happily use that as my standout point. Of course. So, that's where we'll go with our marketing. I'll quite happily do a little bit of innuendo. So,
no, it's awesome.
So I'm going to go probably to Joe and to Troy on this one. Starting a business during a pandemic, I guess that's pretty difficult in general for everybody. So how did you find that, and really, what made you decide to, go all in during a pandemic?
We actually started a month before. So we were doing the local markets and the fairs and that sort of stuff. And we were doing some online sales. And then COVID hit sort of 2 months later, and we thought, what are we going to do now? The markets are closed. So then we looked at our packaging. We started looking at the options of going from the foil pouch bags into shakers, only for the fact that when we started talking to some butcher shops, they kept saying no to the bags because they kept falling over on the counters.
Yeah.
So the gamble for us was, we sort of started reached out to China, and the minimum order was 5,000 shakers. I'm saying, what am I going to do with 5,000? We're only selling 20 a week. Much deliberation. We pulled the pin, bought the 5,000. Within 2 months of them arriving, we had 40 stores in WA. So we knew we were on the right track. And I think COVID and everyone staying home and cooking has probably helped push that along as well.
With COVID, obviously this isn't my full-time hustle. Like I have a job over in Western Australia, but I got stuck over between borders. I got stuck here for a fair while, and we just wanted to start a little side project, me and Claire. We didn't like Joe. We just wanted to make an extra 10 grand to go on a holiday or put it on the house or something like that. Next thing you know, it's grown to the point where Claire's quit her normal job, and now she works the business full time. And when I'm home from the rig, I'm working here pretty well full time. We're not doing markets, we're making stock. And so starting in a pandemic, it wasn't too bad because, like Joe said, everything was online. People become a lot more comfortable buying online. People spend a lot of time sitting on their phones online. So it was starting a business wasn't too daunting.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. And I think the pandemic, multiplied the reach you guys had through social media, and I think a lot through the Aussie barbecue community. I mean, Dean, you sort of mentioned you sort of found it through watching us talking sort of thing one day.
Yep.
But how important was that that community? Because I felt that I know I've sort of had quite a lot of conversations with all four of you over the last couple of years, just on and off, and I think it was just this. I don't know, it was this bond we all created, being stuck at home, but still wanted to give something back. But I'm going to sort of throw it out to all of you, jump in as you feel free. But how important was the Australian barbecue community when you're doing those couple of years?
Oh, it's been huge. I've turned to Joe a fair few times, and I've messaged them, and like me and Dean have talked in the backgrounds about our products and what we like and all that sort of stuff. And like Dean mentioned, we're getting to catch up finally face to face at the end of the year in the market. But there's other people within the community. Like we've got 6 testers that trial our products for us all around Australia, but we've met them all through the barbecue community, pretty well like your Brews and Barbecue show. They're people that we know. We've got our ambassador through like this show as well. So yeah, no, it's been very helpful.
Yeah, I'd agree.
For me, it was huge.
Go on, Tom. Sorry, Matt. Go on.
No. I guess.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's been invaluable. The business wouldn't survive without the Australian community. It sounds a bit like a cliche, but it's not just people buying our products. It's the support, it's the encouragement, it's the words of wisdom, it's the correction, it's the try this, try that. We've had some. Peter Armstrong is on the comments. We've had some conversations where he's literally been really honest and blunt and straightforward, and it's been just what I've needed as a business owner, and because I don't know everything, and there's lots I don't know about business, and we've got some really smart people out there, like Joe's been in business for a long time and in that industry, and lots of others, and so tapping into that has been sometimes the difference between success and failure. So it's been invaluable, and I think during COVID, people wanted to communicate, so being able to just have a chat with people and also give them some encouragement and some knowledge and share that, been brilliant.
So Dean,
definitely created a really cool support network that I probably didn't know I needed through the business. So you can touch base with people, you can send people your rubs, you get their feedback from when they cook it, you get their feedback from when their kids eat it. There's no one out there that I found where I haven't been able to say, hey, what did you think of this? Or I'm thinking of doing this, or I'm thinking about buying this piece of equipment. Like when I bought my Oklahoma Bronco, like it was just a matter of just asking amazing amounts of people to try and get their information. So that was really cool. And then it's nice, like it probably doesn't go a day without reaching out to someone where you talk to someone on social media or on Instagram, whether it be support or just a general chat. And it's nice to now post-COVID to start meeting a few of these people. So we turned up at barbecue festivals this year. I met both you and Mark at Meat Stock this year. So it's really cool to actually put people's faces to their social media handles and to personally thank them and have a beer with them for the support that they've given me through that period, sort of setting it up and carrying on. So.
No, that's it, mate. And I must admit, it was strange. I think it was like a big reunion. Some of these meat stock events, just seeing people, and like you said, going like, "What was your name again?" And then like, I don't know your name, but what's your tag? Oh! And you have this like double take every time you meet someone. And I had that so many times, especially at sort of Meat Stock Sydney, where I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" Like I've been talking to you, but I've never seen your face before. It is really cool. So it was definitely
you
great.
Want to be, as I say, Reyan, you want to be clear because everyone thinks it's just me that runs the business, and then they finally realise that there's actually a female. They have these real man talks on Instagram, and they don't realise they're talking to Claire. It's like, hey mate, like it's a real boy bogan. But
when I comment on your page, I don't know which one I'm actually talking to, whether it's you or Claire.
She can play the role.
That's unreal.
So I'll throw this one at Sam and Dean. So what's sort of your process for product development? So when you're thinking of a new product, what do you sort of go through, and how do you sort of start from inception through the market?
Oh, good question. Wow. So what the market wants, first of all, what's lacking, what's missing, what's popular at the moment, what isn't there, what are people asking for is probably the first thing. I'll write that down every day of the week and keep that information. Then it's what I like, and then I look at what's the brand, what am I trying to do with that product, what I want people to feel or experience, and that will drive the ingredients. And then with my blends, I always like a point of difference. I like to surprise people, kind of catch people by surprise. They don't expect it, or they think they expect it, and then it's not what they expected, which is nice. I quite like that. So then I look at ingredients that are rarely used or used in a different way, and then it all starts from there. And then it's lots of trial and error. It's throwing blends away. It's testing them. It's cooking with them. And then, when we finally get a right product, it's then putting it out to market to test it, getting that feedback. But then it's really just trusting in your product, because I can test it with 20, 30 people with 20, 30 opinions. And it's really just trusting the process, your product, your brand, and that's what you want people to enjoy. and you're confident in that. So that's my process from, I suppose, in short, from beginning to end.
I probably don't have a set process as such. Plenty of brain farts that sort of go on in my head, and some get to come out and some don't get to come out, and some of them come out completely differently to how they were meant to come out in the first place. As I'm sure the other three gentlemen on here, there's a big cupboard full of different spices. There's all sorts of bits and pieces in there, and you can play with it. And I'm forever buying stuff, and you're just playing with things. So, and also too, I guess the beauty with the markets, I get to speak to my customers like face to face every day, or not every day, every weekend. So I'm always asking them what they're after and what they want and bits and pieces. So it's hard in my house. My wife doesn't eat a lot of chili, so that limits her tasting a lot of my blends. And the young kids don't either. So yeah, tasting wise, I've sort of just got to trust my gut and trust my creativity on it. And if I'm happy with it, then I'll release it. That's probably, that's me in a nutshell.
That's all right. Now, look, I'm going to throw this at Troy and Joe. So, obviously, there's so many people there trying to make their own blends. Putting. There's a whole. I mean, there's a base for most different sort of rubs out there, and then you make it unique. And a shout out to Sam too. Like I find Sam's rubs tend to always make me think with my cooks. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it tends to be. It has that sort of complexity where, like you said, you surprise people, which is great. But what tips do you have, Joe and Troy, for someone going, hey, I want to put a blend together and I've got this idea or a brain fart that I want to try and bring to life, to put in Dean's word. What tips do you guys have? I'll start with you, Joe.
The biggest thing is experimenting. I mean, you've obviously got to create a balance of flavors, and whether that's, salty, sweet, hot, but having an idea, creating a balance, but it's just really trial and error, and it's all about adding this, taking that out, adding this, taking that, and it's just like Sam said, it can be months and months of cooking and trialing, and the family certainly gets sick of trialing the same thing week after week. Last time we tried a new rub that we're working on, and it's quite hot. And my wife doesn't eat chili. My daughter doesn't eat chili. My daughter lives 4 doors down. And I said, look, I've got some wings here. I've done some hot and some not hot. I put a cross on the lid, which one's hot, because her husband likes hot. I put the cross on the wrong lid. My mouth is burning. But did they taste it? She says, yes, but my mouth is burning. But it really does come down to trial and error, trying to get that balance between, salty, sweet, hot if you want hot. But yeah, it just comes down to trial and error.
Absolutely.
It's just having a dream and believing it. Like it's like anything. If you don't, there's no point just making a rub just for the sake of making a rub. You've got to have an idea, like Sam said. You've got to what you're trying to get through in your food, and a lot does end up on the floor. Like you just don't bake a lot of stuff. I don't know how many rubs we've made in this house. We've probably got 9 in our range. We've probably made about 30, and they just don't sit. They just don't sit right on a protein, or they don't like. We want our rubs to be able to be cooked in the oven, on a gassy, in a fry pan, low and slow, and they'll hit 2 out of the 3. Or you just can't get it. Like, we've been trying to make this one rub, and we just can't get the flavour profile we want. So we're just not going to take it to market until we can get it to where we want. And a lot of trial and error, a lot of patience, but I think you just got to believe in your flavour as well. Know what you want.
No, I love it. Great tips, guys. And look, Sam, you mentioned earlier, mate, that obviously you do a bit of ghost blending or sort of white label blending, so to speak. And I know, Joe, you do it as well. But, I think there's one thing where you're like, okay, this is my rub. This is the idea I want to come up with. And this is the flavor profile I want to go to. But what's it like going like, I come to you and I say, hey, I want a rub that does X, Y, Z. What sort of process do you guys go through? I might start with you, Sam, and just sort of, and where does, I guess, walk us through it.
So really customers approaches us and really it's about applying what we do as a company and our kind of values and what we think is really valuable to a rub and what will work, and then trying to mash that together with their ideas, because it's their brand, it's becoming their brand. So we kind of help them along the journey. So it's lots and lots of questions, lots of asking, lots of getting reasons why they're developing the blend, the market they're developing it for, what kind of flavor profile, what texture are they looking for. So it's lots and lots and lots of questions, kind of really getting into their head to find out what do they want, and also then helping them through how to commercialize a product that's in their head, because they might have an idea, but to blend it 20, 30, 40, 100, 200, 300, 500 kilos, it's not going to be the same as they blend it in their kitchen. So it's working them through how to commercialize a blend that still gets a result. And then also pricing, how you develop a blend that's cost effective.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Be expanded and still make a good profit for the manufacturer, but also for them, because obviously they're not manufacturing it, so their margins are lower. So how do we get the most out of the blend for them? So it's a real long process, but it really is. It's using our skill and our knowledge and the kind of what we do. We don't compromise. So it's not about bringing in, chemical stuff we wouldn't bring into our kitchen. It's about taking our knowledge and saying, how can we make it work for you? And then, so it's a fair process, but we end up with a product that they're happy with, they enjoy it. It has to be their brand. It can't be our brand.
The
brand that we've developed with our help and support.
That's it. And
have
how
you
about you,
found,
Joe?
Sam, that has helped you?
Sorry.
Have you found, Sam, that has helped you in your process in designing your blends and seeing how you are? So you would have tweaked and changed a few things that you've done based on the failings of your like the clients that you've been working with?
Yeah, definitely. I think having to do other blends means you're not just doing your 7. I've developed 10 others, which has stretched my kind of imagination and pushed me to kind of really think outside the box and go, okay, this is.
They're not your blends; they're not the ones that you came up with, right? So it's different. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and it's sometimes, I suppose, the challenge is not just thinking what's best for you, but going, what does the client actually want? But then trying to work that so it's right and it's feasible. Sometimes the client has to go, okay, you can't have that in a blend; it's not going to work. And we find a compromise, but it's definitely challenged me, and it's kind of helped me learn along the way. So when I'm developing this next blend that's coming out, it's definitely made me rethink, through the process of the other 10, I've learned a lot, and I'm now applying that in my blend. So it's good practice, and also lots of, you're also learning from other people, their experiences, what they enjoy, what they like. So you're feeding off them. So it's this interchange of knowledge and all the time. So it is very helpful. Yeah, very helpful.
Nice. How about you, Joe? I know you and I sort of went through a blend creation process a couple of years ago while I was dabbling in the area, and I realized I didn't want to sell rubs. But how do you find it?
Oh, look, it's pretty much the same as Sam. I actually do a range for a guy in Ireland called Bulldog Barbecue. I do a range.
Yeah, that's right.
For a guy in England with his own branding. I provide 9 blends bulk pack for a celebrity chef in Nigeria, of all places.
So, he's not a prince, is he?
She does a lot of these sort of home heat and eat meals.
Yeah,
so
right.
I do, 9 different blends for her, which are sent over in bulk packs.
Wow. Yep.
So she orders once a month, quite heavily, which is good. And Theory, who's joined us here in New Caledonia, he's sort of expressed an interest in getting our labels converted to French. For their market. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't know what he wrote, so now that you know him, I'll pop his comment up. I didn't know. But anyway, cool. That's awesome, man. And look, and I think it's like you said, it stretches and you learn, right? Like that's the amazing bit. And
they come me with something. I want something that'll do this, and taste like this. So then you'll come up with a couple of options. I post it over to them. I like that, but can you do this? And you go, no, you can't. And then they go, but why? And you try to that up against the balance of this. So it is a slow process, but when you get it right and they're happy with it, it's good. So yeah.
Yes, I was just to say that, and sometimes they come with an ingredient that is their basis for their entire business. So they're trying to use ingredient that is their business and bring it into the spice world. So that's been a really fun challenge to use.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And ingredients we wouldn't necessarily have thought of putting in a rub. We use them and they work really well. So that's been really fun, using ingredients we don't normally use. And then obviously I kind of like the idea of my product being out there but no one else knowing. It's kind of that silent achievement that
that's true.
Develop, but no one needs to know, but have fun with it. So there's that kind of silent satisfaction as well.
And that's what I like when I see her posting her dishes on Instagram. I think they're my spices in that, and she's getting all the praise. And there's no mention of Joe, but hey, if she's getting the praise, it means she's going to reorder, which means they like what they're buying. So
100%. That's what you want, right? End of the day, yeah.
Now, I think I know the answer to this question a little bit because Joe sent me photos of him cooking up massive amounts of meat on any given weekend. But I guess I'll go to Joe and to Dean. You know, going through the testing process, you know, how many different proteins do you try rub on before you release it?
I mean, depending on what protein it's, you know, whether it's for red meat, white meat, whether it's for game meat. But, you know, it might be the same rub on, you know, 5 different weekends, trying different cuts, different everything, different methods of cooking, making sure it's suitable for low and slow, making sure you can use it in a pan. Something with, you know, no sugar or less sugar. It's got to be better for hot and fast because obviously it won't burn. So all those sort of factors. But yeah, my wife is not a big meat eater, so she doesn't look forward to Sunday dinner.
Yep. Pretty much the same. Just plenty of cooking, plenty of testing. And I think, I'm sure everyone else is the same too. I'll release a blend or a rub and it'll change like my focus on how I actually use it. So we've just released the Dirty Pickle, which is essentially a pickling spice, which was a pickling spice to do quick cucumbers for your smash burgers. That was the whole plan behind it. Threw some to Michael Daly. He completely spun it around, started brining all sorts of bits and pieces. So I had another whole new outlook on it. And it turns out that it's amazing with pork. So we are now doing a whole lot of spin with pork on it, which wasn't necessarily what I set out to do with it at all. So, so I guess I cook with our blends, and I'm sure the other boys do as well, every other night of the week. So they do change. Like my focus on how I start with the blend isn't necessarily how I'm still cooking with that blend now.
I also do love, Dean, how you sort of like, anytime I use one of your blends, you'll reach out and go, oh, by the way, try this with it or try this with it. It just lifts it up the next level. And that's always, you know, again, that's really good sort of feedback to get when you're making something and cooking something to try and, you know, get a different flavor profile from something.
Yeah. And again, that's what I'm saying. They change, you know, like I think you start out with one, you start out with a focus on what that's going to be for. And I think you can use it on, you know, a lot of different things and adding different things, Mark, like you said, with that, those Bangkok night ribs you did with the lemon. And that made a big difference.
Sounds wrong, but gee, it's good.
With those,
I see, Reyan.
The chimney, I was like, how did I miss the boat on that one? That's a good one.
Jimmy turned out all right.
Yeah, mate. The Chimmy King, mate, 100%. Quick question for Peter Armstrong there. Do you guys manufacture your own, or do you all co-pack? And
we all make our own,
I
know all the other guys do as well. We all make our own. And we all started off in our kitchens, and some have moved into factories and all that sort of stuff. But we're all small batch or like want to be that artisan. Like we've looked at co-packing, and I just didn't want to lose control of my products. And I know it can solve a few problems. Co-packing can with high volumes and all that sort of stuff. But I find with the co-packer, they've got their margins that they try to work to, and they generally won't get the best product to put in their rubs. I use a certain type of coffee in my coffee rub, and I just won't compromise on it. I'll pay an extra $5 a kilo to have that coffee, then to go to a co-pack and they just use any coffee or
Yeah, that's it. And I think there is a difference between, you can buy 4 different versions of the same spice and you're getting 4 different spices, right? Like 4 different flavor sets or 4 different, I guess, depth of flavor, right? So, now you create a product, great. You've got an idea, like you said, you've got a few tested. What's next? How do you get this product out there? I mean, I know you got the website and things like that, but maybe Dean and Sam just give us an insight to how you first started getting your product out. I'll start with you, Dean. Sorry, mate.
A bit smaller, I guess. Like I just take mine to markets. I take the farmers markets and I do it that way. Get instant feedback. The following Saturday they come back and they tell you if they liked it or they didn't like it.
Oh, awesome!
And then with the barbecue community, everyone's happy to try a rub. Like I can send a rub to plenty of people and they'll test it and they'll say, "Yep, liked it, didn't like it, tried it this way." Bits and pieces. That's the way I do it. Again, because I'm obviously a little bit smaller, but Farmers markets, getting your regular customers to taste your product. They know what your product's like, so they'll give me honest feedback.
And how about you, Sam?
So for me, it's just hard yards. It's making calls, it's touching base with stockists, it's giving samples, it's promoting those stockists that sell to their customers, putting the best foot forward. Obviously, Instagram, Facebook, obviously promotions. We have a number of people that do markets that hold our product, that do festivals that hold our product. So it's really just supporting them when we release a new product. We give them the marketing material. We give them banners if they need. We support them so that they can promote the product, and in turn they sell the product. One thing we've noticed dramatically is if the stockist doesn't have the drive or desire to push the product or the material to push the product, it's going to sit on the shelf and get forgotten. We give them a lot so that our product shines through them, and that's been our best goal. It's just giving them all the help they need to get it in front of the customer, and we do that with things like recipe cards. We release recipe cards, which if you're not buying our product, you're at least taking our branding home and you're cooking and using a recipe card. You're thinking about us. You might pick us up a week later. So giving things away, I think, is important because we're a lot about food education and teaching people how to cook and understand food. So I'm happy to give things away, even if you're not buying my product, if it means you cook better, and in turn, you'll buy something down the track. So that's how we promote and get our product out there.
That's unreal.
And I might ask this to everybody, but unlike other products, the great thing about this one, you can go to a market, have someone taste it in front of you, and give you instant feedback if it's great or not. And how do you find that, and how do you manage that? Like, someone comes like, wow, it's great, or, oh, it's horrible. How do you sort of manage those expectations with someone in person in the market?
Maybe with you, Troy, because I know you've done a few.
Smile and wave. You just get some people, they walk past, they just look and they go, oh, rub's spicy, I don't eat chili. Like, they give you this look and you're just like, I can't tell you what, only probably 4 of our products have chili in them. But each their own. But then it's great when the people do come. Like, we had one guy, he was a vlogger, and he'd seen us up at the Melbourne market. He just made a beeline for us. He's like, I've seen your brand. And he was straight onto us, and you just feel really chuffed. Like, you just stand out from the crowd, and it's someone likes your product. It's good.
I think credit to Todd's Kitchen. I got in front of people for the first time at a shop opening for Things of Smoke and Wood, and it was the first time I was in front of the customers. They were trying my product because obviously I don't do markets, and I had cooked some chicken, and it was a real eye opener to actually get people to try things. And you always have to hold their hand through the process and throw chicken at them with spice on it. But there is nothing more satisfying than someone trying a blend when they say, I don't like coffee, and you go, look, just try it, trust me, you don't have to like coffee. And they try it and go, oh my goodness, this is incredible, I've never tried it, and you go, great, I've got you. So there's nothing better than that. And I think that's where markets and stuff I think we're invaluable in getting it in front of people. So that was a real eye-opener for us to get our product out there.
Well, they ask that famous question, what's your favourite rub? And you're just like, oh, man, I don't really have it. It's probably not even the one I've got sitting here right in front of you. It's probably the one I'm trialling at the moment. And well, what do I put on a steak? And you're just like, I don't know, what sort of heat do you like? And it's really hard. No, but it's good fun. I never wanted to do a market in my life, and Claire got me into it. Said, like, we need to be the face of our business and get out there and talk to the people. And now I'm the one pushing for. I love markets, and I love a chat. You know me, Reyan. You see me a few times out.
Oh, mate,
just waffle on and
look, and I think it's the atmosphere of the market too. I think people are there for a reason, and I think they want to experience something as well. They're coming there to go, I want to try something new. So you've got a good captive market as well. Sort of going to shift a little bit and sort of ask this directly to Joe, because Joe, you were really, really quick at getting your product around to wholesalers. Like you said, you got a whole, like 60 something wholesalers in WA. But do you have any sort of tips for anyone wanting to sort of go down that path of trying to get into stores? How did you communicate? How you seem like you were relentless because you were working full time, right? You were full time.
I was pretty much 18 aged care homes at the time.
Yeah, right. And then you are still pumping out all this stuff. But any tips for us, mate? Just as someone that might want to try and get the product.
I guess it was about reaching out to them and telling them you've got something different. I mean, a lot of the stores are used to the big American brands, and I think Peter asked what's the difference between a good quality rub and a cheap rub that you see at Bunnings.
Yeah.
And I says, why all of us, we've got no fillers and no additives in our rubs. And a lot of those will say, yeah, we don't have additives either, or fillers, but, sugar and salt are really a filler. They're dirt cheap. You look at most of the big names, salt, 3 or 4 different sugars are on every label, and they're usually the first 3 or 4 ingredients where, all of ours are probably down the track, low in salt, low in sugar, and that's why they're a little bit more expensive, but they are a lot better. They're a lot better for you. But, getting out there, it was just, I think just because we were so different, there was nothing else around like what we were doing. There was either a beef rub, a pork rub, a chicken rub, and we come in with some specific flavors, sending in samples, getting them to try them, and then it just started to snowball. Once we got going, literally, probably for the last 6 months, we haven't approached anyone, and we're getting new stores 2 or 3 every single week. And it's just snowballing, whether it's, people using it on Facebook and Instagram, reposting. Then we're getting people asking if, they can stock it, they can supply it, they can distribute it. It just starts to snowball after a while.
No, that's it. I mean, I still remember how many conversations we've had over the last few years where you're like, I mean, this store and this store and that store. And it's just, it was great effort, man. And I know that, I think you, Troy, you went up to the WA and hang out with Joe. And I think you sort of coached quite a lot of people in the community as well through stuff. So really, commend you on that, mate. It's been
I'm happy to, help anybody where I can in anywhere, whether it's helping Troy source, shakers from China or anything else.
Yeah.
I'm here for, if anyone needs it.
No, fantastic.
And Joe, you've taken the big leap from online to actually a physical store. So tell us about how you've gone to that.
The biggest jump for us was, if we're getting busier. The house was getting absolutely crammed. We were probably doing
your beautiful rubber room.
We were probably doing around 1,000 shakers a week. The living room was full of boxes waiting to go out. The house smelt like a spice market. And just pulled your hair out. So we made a decision. We went and talked to our accountant. He says, based on your numbers, you should be fine. We looked around. We looked at commercial areas, and we thought, well, we found a little shop that used to be an ex-butcher shop, literally 10 minutes from home. Very easy for us to set up. We thought, well, we might as well open a shop front at the same time. And we haven't looked back, and we've basically doubled our production.
Amazing.
And I guess I'll go this one to Dean and Troy. So, this is not really your full-time role. How do you sort of manage this as a business plus doing other work on the side? And how do you manage that? So having multiple jobs and the life and family and friends and everything and trying to start a business?
Yeah.
No, mine a lot comes down to the old secret weapon, Claire. She does a lot of the front and back of house. And I remember last year I got stuck in WA for 5 months, and it was like Father's Day, and I don't know how many shakers she made in 3 weeks. Like we went, because we'd only started trading in June. It was our first Father's Day, and Claire does a fair bit of a majority of it. She's just created our whole new website that we launched a little while back. She does a lot of all the marketing and all the razzle dazzle stuff. And then out of our blends, out of the 9 we've got, she's created 5 of them, and then she's got another one coming. She created the one that done well at the barbecue Snakefest. So
what do you do, Troy?
I do this stuff. Claire doesn't like knocking on the shop door and going to see the butcher or go see the barbecue shop, and I do that stuff. And then I do a lot of the cooking on the charcoal. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But it's a good partnership. It works. Yeah,
pretty similar. Big support from my wife, so she holds all that up, and we actually have taken the leap in the last couple of months and handed in the resignation to the full-time job. So we are just doing this full-time now.
Awesome work.
Yeah. So this
and
thank you. This and my wife's business. So the wife's business is going really had super growth through COVID. So it's sort of a balancing act between helping her with that and running this and bits and pieces. So But yeah, without the family, exactly what Troy said, I wouldn't have been able to do half of it. So.
Even the external family, like we couldn't do meat stock or the Christmas market we've got for 2.5 days without having our grandparents looking after the kids, and that sort of stuff does take a lot of time away from yourselves. But it's a big village that helps.
I put up a hand whenever the in-laws will come and pack blends, or they'll put stickers on, or
yeah.
No, absolutely.
I'm back.
Mark?
I just dropped off and I'm back. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey.
I was going to say, just to Sam, I guess, with now changes to getting stock and getting suppliers and increasing buying, shakers and the supply chain issue around, how's that impacted you?
Well, we're pretty fortunate. It hasn't impacted us yet. Some prices have gone up, but we've got a very, very good spice supplier that's really good to us, that manages their business so well that they keep well stocked and predict. They're very good at kind of expecting what's going to happen to an extent, stocking well. So we benefit from their success. When it comes to shakers, we stagger at buying our shakers so we have just enough at the right time. It's a fine balance. It means that we have the luxury of waiting for the dollar to get better against the Aussie, taking the time, not needing to rush and buy 10 grand at full whack because we're desperate. We have been there and we'll never be there again. It hurts. So yeah, just being really well managed and really careful. Checking your stock levels. Sometimes buying when you don't need, sometimes buying when you do need. That fine balance. We're lucky enough to have some really good suppliers that look after us. It could get worse, and it is always a worry that we can't get a spice. There's been a few occasions where we hunt around, ring 5 or 6 different suppliers, pay a bit more, sometimes pay a lot more, but we've just had to do it. But luckily, it's been a few ingredients, not our main ingredients. But yeah, it is always a worry, but you just kind of that's part of small business and part of being in the rub game, I suppose. It's a gamble, but so far so good.
I mean, that's a good point. Sam, you brought up a point. Like, have any of you faced that where you're like, oh, I can't get that product?
Sometimes, like garlic. Yeah, garlic. I've just a certain granule size of garlic, and the next thing the supplier's changed it, and it turns up and it's a different granule size, and you're just like, oh, you've been supplying me this size mesh for the last 12 months, and then they just haven't told you, and yeah.
Right. And Joe, you were going to say?
Yeah, look, my biggest thing was we got to a week where we had no shakers for 10 days.
Yeah, I remember that.
We're over 2,000 on order, so we're not going to get caught out now. So we've actually got 15,000 in our shop, in the storeroom. We've got 15,000 in a storage unit that are just purely backup, so we don't even look at those. And we have 15,000 arrive every 6 to 8 weeks.
Run out, Sam. Just hit Joe up and he can sell you a couple.
Yeah.
Right, if anyone wants checkers, Joe's your man.
That's not even, and it's not even spices. Like, it's even the shakers. We had a batch of shakers. It was our last 5,000 that come through. They had like a little tag on top of the lid, so every time you put the lid on, it was piercing through the seal. And so I'd do like a run of 1,000 shakers, and I've got to sit there and clip each one of these little plastic tags out. It got back to our supplier, and it didn't happen again. But you don't know until they get here, and like Claire's just like, "What's going on here? It's just piercing a little hole through the sealer." I never realised what was happening. It was just something in manufacturing.
We had a challenge with our labels. The printer they used was a test printer, which is worth like $5 million. We go and print the same labels, and they haven't got that test printer anymore. And they're like, "We've only got, it won't print the right color." So I think we went different printers to get the right color. And initially they sent everything to us. It was quite muted, and we're like, "This isn't going to work." And they said, "I don't know what we can do. We don't have that machine." So it was a scramble, but the printers were really good, and they eventually got the color. And I was just going to say, I think with small business, people are really willing to wait. They're willing to be patient. And they're willing to just really, kind of take the shirt off their back to help you, because they're in the same boat as you. suffer the same challenges as you do as a small business. And I think, we definitely found people will wait. If we can't get something to them quickly, that they'll be patient. We've had, some of our national stockists have waited since February, since the floods, to get an order. And patiently waiting. And so I think that's what small business is all about. That's really everyone helping each other out.
No, it's amazing, mate. And look, there's 4 of you here, but I feel like there's so many. I think there's, I think just last year with the ABA, this year, sorry, when the ABA had the awards, there was 150, 170 different rubs in the awards there. And I know some of you, I don't think any of you guys were in the competition at all, possibly. So, it feels like a flooded market, especially in the last couple of years where people had that spare time. But what's that been like? I guess I'll ask you, Dean, and sort of Sam as well. Like, are you finding the market really flooded with sort of the amount of flood's probably the bad word to be using at the moment, but with the amount of rubs we have in Australia, not just international, but I think the local rubs have just exploded.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of rubs out there. During COVID, everyone got stuck at home, so they went out and bought a Weber. And because they got a Weber, they learned how to barbecue, and then they want all these different rubs. So everyone else has started rubs. So I think I think all of us, especially the 4 of us that are here, we've all got different products, and I think the product just has to be. If you have something that stands out that's slightly different to the next person, that's where you get seen. So
yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's still enough people out there that want to cook and produce good food, and I think there's still a massive market that's not even tapped into. That there's millions that don't use spice on their food, that don't even just they buy it, they cook it, and they don't know what to do with it. So I think there's a massive market not tapped into that doesn't sit in most of those rubs that are in the market, that sit in a very kind of niche, and they're used for those environments. And I think there's a massive area of the world that our spices haven't even touched yet. So I think there's enough for what we do and what we're interested in the market we're looking at. There's plenty of opportunity out there, and that's just educating them to be able to use those products. So yeah, I think there's definitely plenty of room for growth.
No worries. And look, the other one I have, and I'll probably throw this to Troy and Joe. We've, you sort of look at rubs, they sort of range between $12 and $15 or $20. And I suppose people sometimes forget behind the scenes that, you are doing it in small batches. The prices aren't that efficient necessarily. And at the end of the day, you guys have to make money, right? Like, it's not like you're making rubs for, initially it was for a bit of fun and joy that brings, but obviously now, with a couple of you guys going full time with this is all about making money and making money for your family. But what can you say to people like, those rubs are too expensive? What would you say, Troy, as in with that sort of question?
I think if anyone's paying between $12 and $16 for a rub, it's quite economical. Like you see a lot of the American rubs come out, you're paying $20, $25 for American rubs, and I think like what Sam was touching on, what everyone's touched on, like there is a small niche market that barbecue rubs competition barbecue rubs can sit in, but that's not everyday cooking, and they're designed around a competition where we design ours around to go on any types of meat and that sort of stuff. Anyone can use them at home. You don't have to be a smoker, a comp barbecuer and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how about you, Joe?
Yeah, totally agree. We designed our range, so there is those who want to do low and slow, but also for just mum and dad who want to barbecue, want to roast, want to fry. I had a lady come into the shop probably a couple of weeks ago, and she asked how much they were, and I said, they're $12.50, and she goes, oh, that's very expensive. And I try to explain the process behind it, the fact that we don't bulk them up with salt and sugar, and we don't do this, and we've got quality spices. We crack our own mustard seeds, we grind our own mustard, all this sort of stuff. And I said, I'll tell you what, you buy one, I'll give you one for free. So she bought ones, and which obviously worked out to $6 a shaker. She came back today and she bought 3 more. She goes, they're nothing like the ones in the supermarket. They've got so much flavour. So it took that to get her over the line. But now, and I've got 3 or 4 of those little old ladies that come to the shop almost weekly. The postman buys one once a week. The couriers buy one once a week. But it's getting them to say, okay, this is what we do. This is what's so different about it. And then once they try it, you've got them.
Yeah,
that's it, Joe. Can I just ask, mate? Sorry, just quickly, mate. What was the second rub? Just out of curiosity.
Sorry.
What was the second rub? Did she choose, or did you give her one that was
She got Tuscan herb, which is obviously your Sunday roast type rub, and then I gave her, I think, a Greek souvlaki one.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And then now she's going to be a loyal customer, so she'll come past the shop every couple of weeks and buy one. So.
Oh, that's a bit. Troy, you were going to say, mate. Sorry if I cut you off.
Oh man, I've forgotten now. I got too caught up in what Joe was saying.
Everyone's hanging on, like, what flavor did Joe hook him with?
Oh no, I was going to say, like, and we use different products. Like we go and source really sometimes exotic spices, like Sam was saying, and you got to pay a little bit extra sometimes to get that.
Yeah.
And I think we've all done very well, even right through like now. Everyone else is jacking their prices up. I think everyone else has stayed pretty solid. Like we haven't changed our price since the day we started, and I'm pretty sure everyone else is the same in the room. We've all stayed much the same. Where other barbecue rubs have gone up, they've actually snuck up above that $20 mark.
Yep. No, that's it. And I think all of you guys do, you do group packs as well. Like, obviously you buy 4 of your pack or 4 rubs or whatever in a pack, and, it gets discounted already. So no, you guys do a great job. And Joe, I still remember buying the first few from you, and they were $12.50 back then, mate. So it's
we haven't changed. We literally haven't
changed. That's it. Yeah, that's unreal.
I know, like Anthony said in the comment, they go a long way when you use fresh, high quality ingredients.
Yeah, especially not packed. Like,
so you get a lot for your money, like much further than you would if you bought a rub that was more expensive, yet you needed more of it to get that flavour. So they really do last, which I think is value for money.
100%.
Yeah, I want to get everyone to pick all your brains, because I'm sure there's plenty of people out there watching, hopefully, who will be thinking about starting up their own business, just like this, a very similar business. I guess just someone starting out, what's your what's your sort of your tip or your suggestion that you should look at first when thinking about going down this path? And I guess I'll start with sort of Dean, go Joe and Sam and Troy, and sort of work around.
Oh, I don't know. Be passionate.
Yeah.
I think just be passionate. If you're not your passion comes through in the food or the rub that you make. I think if you can tell when someone's passionate about the blend that they've created, as opposed to a super huge manufactured thing that no one sort of got any passion or love for. So I think for me, be passionate about what you do.
Yeah, totally agree with you got to be passionate about what you do. You got to enjoy what you do, and you've got to love the flavors that you're creating and stand behind them.
Yeah,
no, I love those.
Any more than that, you're not going to work till 1, 2 in the morning blending spices if you don't love it. You're really not. You have to love it to really put the hard yards in. And I think, 100% passion. Yeah, without a doubt.
I'll say,
don't do it, Troy. Just don't do it.
Well, honestly, you'll sit there and you'll create a rub right before you even get into it. You'll create a flavour and you'll be at the back, and the easiest part of it all is creating that rub and probably lighting the barbecue. After that, it's hard work. Like the socials, people don't realise how much time the socials take and how much time the back of house admin, supply, finding stuff. Like the rub, once you got it, it's easy. It's just like rinse and repeat, making the rub. But it's all the other stuff. It is hard work. I think everyone here makes it look and sound a lot easier. But it is hard.
I thought you were going to say having a supportive partner, but
All right, guys. We get into the I guess wrapping up the show. But before we go, I really got to ask a few questions. So, in the sense of what's next for each of you. So, is there rubs in the horizon? Obviously, Dean, you're heading to an event. Do you want to give us where can we catch you next, or what can we expect next from you guys? Maybe I'll start with you, Sam, and then we'll work our way around.
So a new blend we are developing for some other companies. We've got a few white labels coming that are from possibly bringing stuff into Australia and producing it locally. So that I won't say too much more. And then festivals. We got a taste for standing in front of the customers. So we are doing more festivals next year. Probably Meat Stock will be our
Headed to Toowoomba.
we're going to go in 2 feet deep and do meat stock. So yeah, definitely festivals next year. With us.
Excellent, man. Excellent. How about you, Dean?
Yeah, so probably at the moment there's no new rubs on the horizon. There's always, like I said before, there's plenty of brain farts. Probably just pushing our new rub, which is the dirty pickle, and trying to get a few more people into that. And
yeah, I got to try that one.
A whole lot of new experiences with that. Next year will be the year of like Sam just said, some more festivals. We did a few festivals this year, the barbecue festivals. Fell in love with them. We've just recently did Kangaroo Valley here in New South Wales, and that was a huge one. That was a really good event for us. Coming down to Melbourne in the end of November, I think it is, Troy.
Yes.
25th, 26th, something like that.
25th.
So you can 25th. You can find us at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre for that whole weekend. And then next year,
D9.
I think I'm B13. There you go. And then hopefully next year, if we can, we'd love to attend meat stock and bits and pieces like that. So.
Excellent. How about you, Joe?
New rubs. We're going to release Bee Sting, which we've had in our shop for a while, which is a blend of our firecracker and honey hog. So sweet and hot.
Always good.
So that'll probably get launched in a couple of weeks. And we've also got a new sweet beets, which is a beetroot style rib rub.
Oh, excellent.
Produces a really dark mahogany color. Great on venison, great on salmon. So we've been working on that for a while. We're also probably early November going to release a range of loaded salts. So we've got a jalapeno, a smoked, herb, chili and lime, a firecracker salt.
Yep.
So those. Got a huge festival coming up at the end of the month. So the Beer and Beef Festival. Yeah. Massive 2 days over at Crown Casino in their parkland. And then later on in the new year, the Pork and Cider Festival, which is also huge.
That sounds like an amazing festival, to be honest. And how about you, Troy?
We've got a pretty jam-packed end of the year. We've got Port Melbourne Christmas Market. We've got the Food and Wine Christmas Market. Couple of weeks, we've got WRG's. We're doing an in-store tasting down at Wallington's, which is the first time we've done. We'll do a smoke up out the front of their shop and do some tastings there. Yep. And then next year, want to get up and visit the Daniel's just commented now, try and get Daniel go see the Smoke and Swine boys and be a dish pig for them and do a couple of comps. And then also we're going to do meat stock. We're going to jump back in with Mark from Smartfire.
Smartfire, Yep.
And we'll do meat stock at least Melbourne. But we're going to try and get a couple more festivals up the coast as well. Yeah. And we're at that tipping point where we're about to, we've been a couple of months back getting into retail space. So at that tipping point now, we're getting a bit too big for home. Yep. So hopefully next year we'll get into a shop.
Excellent. That's awesome, man. And look, I'm really excited for meat stock too. I think Mark and I are sort of booked in for all three. So hopefully we'll see most of you around the box, which would be great.
Yeah. I'm
going to ask Troy's favorite question. So if someone's watching and you could suggest only one of your rubs, just all of you, which rub would you suggest? So we'll start with Troy and go Sam, Joe, and Dean.
There's two guys in the chat that will know what I'm talking about, but the T rub, it'll come out by the end of the year. No one's it's in version 3 at the moment. So we'll release at the end of the year, but that's my favourite rub at the moment.
All right.
But apart from that, out of our range would be it'd either be the Rip or the Southwest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Apart from the new one, which will be epic, currently the Weekend Blend.
Good one. Yeah.
Good choice. Yeah. Love it. That'll get him hooked, mate.
And Joe?
I guess family-wise, it would be Pixie Dust. For me and the son, it'd have to be Firecracker.
Oh, yeah. You had Mark at Firecracker. Right, that's an epic rub. Oh, yes.
Chimmy.
Yes. 100%.
Has to be our Chimmy. Chimmy went really well for us. People love it. It's super versatile. I haven't had it with anything that I don't like. So, and the dirty pickle that has just come out is becoming really popular too. So that'd be two for me.
was the gateway to get my wife to eat my barbecue. So once the Jimmy came out, she's like, "We need that again."
Good to hear.
It's and it goes on bloody everything. It's an unreal little thing that obviously I've done on ribs with it, wings with it, and then you chuck it on some steak. Amazing. No, I totally agree. Now we do this every show. Before we go, we sort of ask each of you, or ask our guests who they get inspiration from in the barbecue community. So I might just mix it up a little bit, but let's start with you, Sam. Who would you like to give a shout out to, and then we'll go around the room.
So was Barbecue Hut. He's my brother, but he's just released a line of sauces which are just going Jizzo in the UK. And,
insider trading, that one, I love it.
Doing great things. Him especially, only because he's ramped his game up and he's knocking it out of the park. So, if you want to go overseas and see someone do some good things, he's doing good things.
That was good. I was really excited to get his sticker, and I didn't realize he was your brother. And I got his sticker, and you're like, "Oh, that's my brother." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
not like that's my brother, actual brother, real brother.
Yeah. How about you, Troy?
I've got two, mate. One's our ambassador, Mike Daly. He just takes barbecue to another level.
Legend. Yeah,
he does. He helps me get motivated to cook and push us and our blends to another level. And just the boys from Smoke Swine Barbecue, they're just doing some really good things in the barbecue scene, and they'll be good to follow and watch next year.
I always joke with Michael. I sort of say, mate, if I ever needed an ambassador, I wouldn't even tell him. He would just have stuff rock up. He's an ambassador, so yeah, he does an amazing job. So huge shout out to the effort and the quality he produces in the social media realm. How about you, Dean?
Really hard to narrow it down to a few people because so many people are happy to sort of try everything, and I look at their stuff. But Troy's ambassador daily for sure. Michael's always, he'll give you an honest opinion. If he doesn't like it, he'll definitely tell you. Then the Tradie Barbecue from Auckland.
Oh yeah.
He does some amazing food, and he was doing some stuff today. So yeah, check him out too.
Excellent. And you, Joe?
I guess in Australia, it'd have to be Joe's Kitchen. Great supporter. She does a lot of great cooks with our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. She's been trialing a couple of new rubs that we've got coming out that I didn't even mention, which they're about 6 months down the track. And overseas, the Smoke and Dutch barbecue team who competed in the World Championships.
Yep.
Got third place in the world for their beef using our gunpowder. So which was pretty good. Yeah.
Unreal. Now, thanks so much for coming on. And it's not asking, I'm just going to let everyone know where to find you guys. So if you're looking for Toad's Kitchen Cupboards, you look at, just go to www.toadkitchencupboard.com.au. Smoky Joe's Rub is just smokyjoesrubs.com. Sam from Sauce Low and Slow, you can find him at saucelowandSlow.com. And Coast and Smoke is coastandsmoke.com.au. And obviously, a lot of these guys are also at the Rub Society as well, if you want to go check them out and grab a couple of each of at the same time, which is great. Now, thanks heaps for coming on, guys. It was so good to have you on and have a chat. And it was so insightful. And I hope everyone watching got something out of this conversation. Appreciate your time. And thanks for coming back on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ram. Thanks, Mark.
No worries. Now, this is the awkward bit where I'll put you guys back a scene, and then we'll catch up with you shortly, and then we'll wrap up. All right, cool. While I do this, there's got to be a better way, right? It's even harder when there's 4, Mark. Oh, man, what an episode. That was great.
The thing that I'm excited by most is I feel like now you're making beetroot ribs. Just
Yeah.
I want to try there's a rib rub here, and I thought, I know a guy makes ribs.
Yeah, mate. That's the first thing I thought. I've seen a few beetroot ribs out there, and I've been eyeing them out. They look amazing. And yeah, the color, the mahogany color is what got me. And that pickle, mate. That pickle sounds amazing. And you can't sort of go past, some of the Coast and Smoke stuff, just the complexity of the flavors as well. And yeah, you got to remember Sam from Sauce Low and Slow always makes you think that gin gets you going, yeah. That takes lamb to another.
Kids go to one, so when I cook,
mate.
The kids go, is they got my seasoning on it, so that's their seasoning. They call it theirs.
The split gin. That's cool.
Well, my kids love the gin, just like their dad.
No, that's it, mate. I guess before we get going, mate, who inspires you, and who do you want to give a shout out to?
We've been inspired by a lot of great rubs, so I'm inspired by a lot of great meat. So I'm going to chuck out to Macca's Angus. So if you're not really following, if you can't get it,
mate, 100%,
get yourself some. It's like the best. Do yourself a favor, get yourself some Macca's, and then any of these guys' rubs, chuck it on it. It'll be
100%. And I just messaged Macca the other day saying, mate, your beef is still the best beef I've tried. And he's like, and he just loved it. So, I absolutely agree. For me, it's going to be Cassie from Ground Zero Design. So Cassie did the Lord of the Rubs poster for this episode. So really a big shout out and appreciate the support on that one. It looks amazing. And I know that the guys on the show appreciate it as well. But Mark, who's on the show next, mate?
So you've got the pitmaster, Martin Goffin. So I'll be interested to catch up with him.
From Red Gum Barbecue. Red Gum Barbecue, mate.
Red Gum Barbecue.
So yes. Yep. So that's going to be Thursday at 10 a.m. So a special daytime show. And then next Thursday at 10 a.m., who do we got? Who we got coming? I can't remember.
Is it someone, somebody?
Yeah.
I've heard of her before.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. So I think she's a big deal, yeah.
Yeah, it's Jess Riles on the show. Super, obviously meat nerd, barbecue enthusiast, started the part of the ABA in Australia. So can't wait to get her on the show as well. Another 10 a.m. show.
Educational person online. The stuff she puts out,
it
just educates me every time. And it's
make sure you guys have some ripper questions. She's going to have some ripper questions. So thanks for everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Oh, actually, Thursday. Man, here we go. See you later.
See you guys.